Welcome back to Scotty's Hobbies. Today, in the House Rules Committee, they held a meeting about a few emissions bills or HJ-Reses that are going to be going to the floor on Wednesday. The main ones that were the focus, actually the real main focus of today was HJ-Res 88. But on the table was HJ-Res 87, 88, and 89. If you don't know these bills and you want my take on what these bills are, look for like a link up here or in the description below. And I uploaded a video the other day just letting you know what they're all about. This video is going to be about what happened today, and it was pretty darn juicy, so stay tuned. Before we get too far into this video, like, subscribe, hit that ring bell, check out the video library for a ton of other helpful videos on this subject. Also, every subject I talk about in my videos, there's links in the description for you to go do your own research. So please, 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 don't just listen to me. Don't just listen to other idiot YouTubers. Do your research and come up with your conclusion. Now, what do you think these CRAs are going to do? What do you think is going to change in your daily life if these get passed through the House, the Senate, and signed in as a bill? Let me know your take. What do you think is going to happen? Now, today, in the House Rules Committee, they conversated about HJ-Res 88 a lot. They didn't care about the heavy duty trucks law or CRA or the omnibus CRA, so that's going to be 87 and 89. They didn't really care about those too much. Those affect big rigs and heavy duty vehicles like buses, service trucks, what else, like crane trucks, stuff like that. So they really weren't worried about that too much. They focused on HJ-Res 88. This is the bill that will deregulate the Advanced Clean Cars 2 rule in California, also known as the EV mandate or the gas ban of 2035. HJ-Res 88 will get rid of that rule. Now, what did we find out in this committee meeting today? I was actually very surprised that there was opposition to this bill. I thought it was going to go through smooth sailing like butter, and there's actually a lot of opposition to these bills. It was actually pretty crazy. Obviously, the Republicans are for it. Their argument is, one, that this rule should not have been even able to be applied through the EPA, through the Biden administration, so the rule should be invalid right there. Two, that EVs cost a lot. They're just out of the cost reach of a lot of people. Three, they are not feasible in a lot of locations in the United States. So in cold climates and really hot climates and hilly areas, they're just not feasible for everybody. They're all over here in California, but they're not feasible for everybody in the United States. Another argument is that they're not even California isn't meeting the checkpoint standards that they need to be able to get to the EV mandate of 2035. They're not selling like they want them to, or the Democrats want them to, or Newsom or CARB wants them to. They're selling a lot slower. Also, there's so many, I'm gonna run out of fingers here. The grid can't handle it. No matter where you're at, the grid can't handle everybody having an EV right now. Maybe later on in the future, who really knows? But as it is right now, it's not there. So that's just a few of them. What the Republicans really want out of this whole thing is that we, the people, have the freedom to choose what we want. Like, do we want an EV? Do we want a hybrid? Do we want a gas vehicle? They want us to have the freedom to make that choice, not the choice to be forced upon us. Now, what I'm pretty afraid of out of the meeting today is that just straight ICE vehicles, non-hybrid, are going to be a thing of the past. In this meeting today, if you go watch the whole thing, all they mention is that people should have a choice between hybrids and EVs. They never even mentioned just a straight gas vehicle. So even if this all gets passed in the future, I'm kind of afraid that a straight gas or diesel engine might be a thing of the past, that we are going to end up being forced into EVs or hybrids. I'm all about hybrids. I think hybrid is the way to go. Obviously, you're not going to get the power out of it like for a muscle car or whatnot, but commute-wise, I love hybrids. I've never even touched a hybrid either. So EVs, hybrids, I've never touched one. I don't think I've even been in a hybrid ever. So that's my take on EVs and hybrids. Now, the Energy and Commerce Committee, where my boy is that told me to go tune into this whole thing, they sent a letter to the Government Accountability Office and asked to get their opinion on these House Joint Resolutions, 87, 88, and 89. What the GAO says is that these three rules, or CRAs, should not even be valid anyways, because the rules that are applied or given by the EPA, the waivers that are given by the EPA to California are not subject to CRAs. So this might not be a quick process, even if it gets signed by President Trump. There is some standings or possible standings for this to be fought out in court. So this could be a very, very, very long process. And just real quick, look at this, a little snippet of the whole thing, real quick.
Representative Tonko, can you explain for the committee what the GAO's determination on the CRAs means?
Well, I think it means that, we are entering into a zone here that has been unauthorized. They recognize that they do not allow that opportunity to do what's exactly being done here. And I think it could be precedent setting. And, as we move through time, we could do the same thing and avoid what really was intended to be the guidance of the process of enabling resolutions like this or changes like this to come about. So I think, the precedent-setting nature of it is what we should bear in mind here.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that there's a process that we're supposed to go through, we've got a mismatch here between using this process on these waivers. Is that right?
Exactly. And, the CRA has been reviewed by GAO and the parliamentarian, and I think they cite valid reasons why, these opportunities should not be included in the process.
Sounds like it's something that could end up in the courts for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, so you see what I mean? This could just be stall tactics, but do you think this is going to be quick? As it is right now, what do you think you could do with your car? Do you think you could go cut your cats off? Do you think you could do a diesel delete, EGR delete, tune the computer? Do you think that is all allowed right now? Or do you think CARB is going to be going away anytime soon? I really need to know your take. And if you have any questions that I'm not covering in any of my videos, check out the video library, but comment below. Ask away. I'm way more than willing to help you guys learn or try to find a space or spot where you could go read to figure out answers to your questions. And I also might learn something as well. Now, we went over what the Republicans or why they want to sign these House Joint Resolutions. Now, the Democrats, what they said, why they are against this. One thing, real big thing to them was that this rule given by California isn't a United States mandate. This is a California mandate. So they're saying states that follow California emissions, they don't have to do a gas ban or an EV mandate. They can pick and choose what they want out of our waivers here in California and either use the whole rule, partial the rule, and they don't have to use the rule at all. That's a rule for California that other states don't have to follow. So it shouldn't affect everybody is what they're saying. And then on top of that, they agree with the GAO's findings that these bills or these House Joint Resolutions should not affect these rules because these are not CRA-able. That is their main focus on it all. Of course, the Democrats say that the EV mandate is to help us be a leader in transportation in the world, period. But are we? Is that what it's really intended to do? Who really knows? Now, don't forget, there is a complete video that I'm uploading. You might be able to find it right here. I'm going to try to put it somewhere. Go watch that whole video. You guys, do your own research. Get your own knowledge. Don't just take my word for everything. Don't take some other idiot YouTuber's word for everything. There's a lot of people out there tickling balloon knots, letting you know that CARB is the end, that this is going to be it. These CRAs is going to be the end of CARB. No. Do research, please. And I might be wrong. Don't just listen to me saying, Go do research. Watch that whole committee meeting. If the Transportation Freedom Act gets passed somehow, that might put an end to CARB. But the Transportation Freedom Act has a ton of economic stuff to it, not just ending CARB. Read that whole bill again. It's a very crappy bill. The better one, in my opinion, is the Stop CARB Act. That's the best one out there that will actually put an end to CARB and let us free up some possibilities on our own vehicles. We could cut off our cats, do diesel, maybe. As long as it's not against the federal standard, I'm not sure. What we really need to do is modify Section 209 of the Clean Air Act. That gives California the ability to make their own smog laws. And then Section 177 of the Clean Air Act is what allows other states to sign on to following California standards. Those two sections of the Clean Air Act need to get changed to be able to put a change or deregulate the emission standards in the state of California and the other states that follow the California emission standards. What is your take on all this? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if I need to go get learned on something, please let me know. Thanks for checking out Scotty's Hobbies. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys watching. Like, subscribe, hit the ring bell, and I will see you guys on the next hopefully helpful video.